Good morning. So it's Friday morning, and this is, I'm going to let Nishant introduce
Yeah.
himself. The biological imagination. I'm Kim Brasser with One Voice Evolving, and he was one of the first writings that grabbed my heart and soul and didn't let go when I first came on. And he had just come on, and I haven't. It is the one piece of writing that I look forward to in the middle of the night when I can't sleep, or in the morning when I'm having a moment, or when he writes about anxiety in midlife. And it just, I'm so thrilled to be able to do this. We're testing out the new Substack studio system today. So Nishant, tell us about a little bit about your journey.
Thank you, ma'am, first of all, for this opportunity. And I still remember you were the first who sent me a personal message that I have written. I was reading your article 1:45 a.m. and I have shown this to my husband in morning. And I mean, this was the first ever support I got online or in internet community. So I can never forget that. So I'm really thankful to you. And I've been writing research papers from last 8 to 10 years. Okay, but most of those papers were on stem cells, cancer biology. My background is tumor immunology, where we study the immune response to cancers, different cancers, and we try to create immunotherapies or immunotherapeutic protocols. But uh, I think 9 months back, I took a kind of semi retirement from the lab work because of my health issues. And I was at home, and then I was studying a simple concept of immunology, and something came into my mind that we can convert this into a story. We can convert the complete biology into different kind of stories, love stories, spy stories, then poems, and so many other things. And then I started doing creative writing in biology, and it's going good. I mean, people are liking it, and I'm happy that when people laugh after reading about bacteria falling in love, or after reading a liver cell telling a drunk person don't do this. So personifying personifying biology, I'm really loving it. I'm really loving it. Even for me it is surprise that yeah, we can convert these difficult concepts into stories. Yeah.
Well, your writing is so exceptional, and it blows right past my critical thinking and just hits me right in the heart, or right in the gut, or right where my cells live. And it goes, "Oh, that's what happens in grief," for example. And with what's happening with Substack and what's happening with I feel like the only way people are going to know that what we're writing is really what we're writing
Yeah.
is to hear us in real time interact. And then they know that the way I speak is the way I write, and it's not AI version, and that what you're doing is in your cellular level. You come to the table as biology, and I come to the table as a midlife woman with some damn questions about what's happening in this body. And I'm just so think it's going to be so much fun to see where it goes.
Yeah, so I will tell you generally, I mean, people like us who are continuously working in lab, they are shy from literally everything, literally everything. And coming live and speaking about biology, where there is no conference is going on, there is no presentation or technical discussion. It is just conversation. So it's a big leap for
Yes.
me. But yeah, we have to tell people that okay, whatever what are things are going in your body are having some biological basis behind it,
Mhm.
and if you learn them, if you learn the mechanism in simple words, then those things can change your life. Definitely. So when you say my writing is going past your critical thinking, that is also a biology. Your amygdala is thinking, oh, what is this new thing coming to my brain? I have to analyze it. And once it is not able to analyze it, then the whole brain is going after it and creating a new response. So
Oh,
so even in that kind of thinking, there is biology behind it.
ah, ah. So let's talk about when new information hits. however that
Hmm.
comes, and your brain can't make sense of it. Tell me about the what next, because that happens to me often when I hit a news cycle. I'm bumping along, having my coffee, having a perfectly normal day, making plans, life is good. And then I get sideswiped with news that is the unimaginable to me. And it goes right into my body. There is no filter that says, oh no, you're not allowed to do that to my liver or my heart rate or whatever. Tell me, I want to know what's happening, what that is. And I want to know, what is the cycle? Is it going to resolve itself, or is all that box breathing really matter?
So the thing is, I give you one very simple example. So news cycle is very big thing. I am just giving you one example. A kid who is entering into a dining room where 10 to 15 strangers are sitting there. Okay, and the brain does not analyze reality. It is a prediction model. Okay, it predicts everything.
Okay.
So when the kid is entering into that room, the brain predicts, okay, I am curious. What are the new things will happen to me? What these guys will ask me? What will be the new information? Okay. But one spelling mistake or one pronunciation falter, three or four strangers are laughing, then suddenly the brain says, oh, this is the survival threat. Now this is a new thing which is going to cost me my survival, or it will discard me away from the tribe, or it will make me thinking, okay, I'm not belonging to this tribe or this group. And there a new prediction comes, that next time if you will see something new, then your
Mhm.
predictions will fail, and then brain will not be going to have any kind of filter. It will be a truck hitting you suddenly because you have never seen it coming. So every time you see a new news cycle, your brain thinks, okay, I was predicting this will happen, but this didn't happen. Now, what to do with this information? And all neurons are going behind that information and they are analyzing it in a totally strange way. So it will not resolve automatically. You
Mhm.
have to, I mean, for example, sometimes what happens that you are watching a news which is very difficult to watch. It's brutal and
Mhm.
you don't know how to respond to it. Okay,
Mhm.
so that is your vagus nerve telling you this is a threat, this is a saber tooth, this is a woolly mammoth, so you have to run from here. But you can take a 1 second pause, you do a long exhale, and that long exhale for the vagus nerve is saying that we are safe. We just
Mhm.
have to bring ourselves into the present, and once you are in the present, you will be saying loud, we are safe. And you will not believe me right now, but you do this 2 or 3 times, your biology will listen to it. And once it will start listening it, it will create a new prediction model. Then in the new prediction model, new things will come, brutal things will come, trauma will come, and we have to grow around it.
Okay.
So it is not about learning how to resolve it. It is about creating a new prediction model, and
Oh,
that you can do easily.
okay. And so when we when we are in a season of change, and life is nothing but change. Tell me what biology says about cycles of change in a person.
Yeah. So specifically, when I have gone through your work, you are working with female who are above 40 years, right? So I mean, they have taken so many pauses in their life to please others.
Mhm.
Okay, they have undermined themselves for, let's say, 20, 25 years. Okay, so if you swallow your sentence one time, that's a
Mhm.
small surge of cortisol, that is stress hormone,
Mhm.
and it is logged in your brain as a chemical activity.
Okay.
But if that chemical activity is repetitive for next 20 years,
Oof.
it becomes allostatic load. Allostatic load means your jaws are tightened, your gut is slow, then your sleep is shallow. Even if you don't notice it, your sleep is going to be very shallow. You will be always in an alarming position. What is going to be wrong? And people think that this is wrong with their body or with their psychology. It is not. It is just a survival mechanism. Okay, and for females it is really very interesting. Whenever they are feel threatened, they secrete more oxytocin. So more threatening, they become friendlier, biologically friendlier, because they want to belong in that particular group. Because for them, it is the question of survival. But the layers are there again, new layers, new layers, new layers, and it affects your physiology. And getting a shallow sleep is very bad for immune system, for your memory, for your mitochondria. So I mean, when people say that sleep is very important for body, they are telling the truth, and that you are disturbing your sleep by telling your brain again and again that I am in survival threat mode.
Mhm,
Right. So yeah, so your body in those 40 years is totally changed if you have suppressed your feeling for last 20-25 years.
mhm,
And there was one experiment done by scientists. They have shown uh, an emotional movie to two groups,
mhm,
and to one group they asked that you should not react emotionally. Okay?
mhm,
And to another group they asked you can react in whatever manner you want.
mhm.
And once the movie was done, they asked the question to both the groups that tell us the complete story of the movie. Just repeat the story. And the group which suppressed the emotions couldn't tell the story completely. They forgot it. So you have memory loss if you suppress your emotions. So that is another physiological change in your body.
Okay, so we're just going to rabbit trail off of some of this because, so let's talk about dementia. And I say that because I have a sister who had dementia for the last 10 or
Hmm.
15 years of her life. And I have a memory like an elephant, my brother will tell you. I never
Hmm.
forget anything. I would bring up stuff and tie it to today and make sense of it. It's my superpower. But she had repressed memory from things in our childhood she did not want to remember. And so for her, the dementia, I saw it for her almost as a protective mechanism
Yeah.
that kept her from having to deal with it. What happens in the body over that?
Yeah. So the same example, telling your brain again and again that I am in, because they want to belong in that particular group. Because for them, it is the question of survival. But the layers are there again, new layers, new layers, new layers, and it affects your physiology. And getting a shallow sleep is very bad for immune system, for your memory, for your mitochondria. So I mean, when people say that sleep is very important for body, they are telling the truth, and that you are disturbing your sleep by telling your brain again and again that I am in survival threat mode.
Mhm,
Right. So yeah, so your body in those 40 years is totally changed if you have suppressed your feeling for last 20-25 years.
mhm,
And there was one experiment done by scientists. They have shown uh, an emotional movie to two groups,
mhm,
and to one group they asked that you should not react emotionally. Okay?
mhm,
And to another group they asked you can react in whatever manner you want.
mhm.
And once the movie was done, they asked the question to both the groups that tell us the complete story of the movie. Just repeat the story. And the group which suppressed the emotions couldn't tell the story completely. They forgot it. So you have memory loss if you suppress your emotions. So that is another physiological change in your body.
Okay, so we're just going to rabbit trail off of some of this because, so let's talk about dementia. And I say that because I have a sister who had dementia for the last 10 or
Hmm.
15 years of her life. And I have a memory like an elephant, my brother will tell you. I never
Hmm.
forget anything. I would bring up stuff and tie it to today and make sense of it. It's my superpower. But she had repressed memory from things in our childhood she did not want to remember. And so for her, the dementia, I saw it for her almost as a protective mechanism
Yeah.
that kept her from having to deal with it. What happens in the body over that?
Yeah. So the same example which I have given you right now. So the memory which she don't want to remember, they were a kind of threat to her amygdala. And at that time, even if she felt that threat, she didn't express. She
Mhm.
stopped herself. Okay, so we call this sometime that tightening of throat, that
Mhm.
sometimes you get the courage but you don't want to say it, right?
Ah,
And at physiological level it happens. There is a scientific word for that lump which is called as globus sensation.
uh-huh.
So we are having a long nerve which is called as laryngeal nerve. So it stops you saying something. It gives you a moment of pause of half second or 1 second.
Mhm.
It tells you think again, because if you are going to say this, it will affect your survival in the tribe. So
Mhm.
every time what is happening, that if the throat is tightening and they are not expressing, then the memory will not come back again. They will forget some part of that specific event, right?
Mhm.
So if when I was, let's say, a 10-year-old and I have joined a marriage dinner,
Mhm.
and if somebody has mocked me, somebody has told me that you don't look good or something,
Mhm.
and at that time I didn't express it, I swallowed my sentences, I lost my courage, my throat got tightened, I forgot that.
Mhm.
So today I don't remember what exactly happened in that dinner party.
Okay. So, what happens in midlife women? Because I work with women 40 and older, because it takes until you're about in your 40s before you start empty nesting, before you burn out from the 25 years of going along to
Yeah,
get along. What happens that causes us then to start to deconstruct those stories, to revive those memories, to relive those experiences? Because I always say that pain that gets buried, when it comes up right where you left it.
yeah,
It comes
and
up with the same intensity that you had when you buried it. What is
and
that?
sometimes with more magnitude than the last time. So
Oh.
not exactly. I mean, so we think that memories are stored exactly as it is in our brain. It's not like that. Memory is reconstruction every time. So whenever we try to remember a old thing, we create a new version of it. So that new version is getting more and more difficult to store. Why? Because we are having repetitive exposure to that threat, right?
Mhm.
So uh, a kid has made a painting for a classroom project, okay, and the same painting was created by another girl,
Mhm.
and unknowingly the teacher says your painting is better than her. So the second girl it's kind of threat,
Mhm.
right? And then after 3 years she's thinking same, then after 6 years she's thinking same, and that prediction model runs now like this: I am not enough, I cannot make a good painting, making a painting is painful for me. And after 40 years if she remembers the thing of 2007, it is again a threat perception, and the brain thinks, oh, I was not good in 2007, I'm not good today, and I will not be good in 2031. So that is also called as prison of fear. It is
Okay.
not an actual fear, it is the predicted fear that this will happen, what people will think about me. And this happens with the females who are in their midlife. So but the problem is biology says exactly opposite things.
Mhm.
I tell you one very interesting thing. There are very few species in this world who live more than their fertility age. So whales, some killer whales, and one species of chimpanzee, these are the only species. Even if your fertility age is gone, you are surviving beautifully. So when people say that after 40 years you are past your prime, that's myth. That's a total lie. That's a complete lie. Because the human evolution wants to have grandmothers,
Mhm.
because it has been tested and it has been proven that if a grandmother is surviving for long, then the survival rate of grandchildren is also high.
Mhm.
Why? Because the system wants somebody smart, somebody who can recognize the pattern,
Mhm.
somebody who can teach, somebody who can lead, somebody who can train. Not in every species, but in few species, and we are one of that. And if I talk in terms of biology, then biology will say, I will not waste time to model something for 40 years and then throw it away in 41st year, right? I will not waste that time.
Okay. So, what does biology say about that sleep cycle that happens in midlife? Because I hear this from my clients and my own body more often than not. It's the cortisol spike, it's whatever. And then if you go to the doctor, they want to give me Ambien. I won't. And if I go to the wellness culture, I can spend hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of dollars a month and coaching programs and I know biology has some things to say about the wellness culture in our body.
So the wellness culture, I mean, the wellness culture has devised a specific language.
Uh-huh.
Okay, you should be knowing 8 to 10 scientific words, and then you are a wellness coach. You just say mitochondria, and hundreds of people will be behind. Oh, he's talking about mitochondria. You just say about cortisol spike. The thing is, whenever we wake up in morning, the cortisol is going to be spiked. Whatever age you are having, whatever time of life you are having, whatever stress you are having, in morning cortisol will spike. Why? Because you are awake and now you have to do so many things, so you should be in stress. You should be in stress to complete those goals. So that cortisol spike thing is taken very wrongly by wellness coaches. They just want to tell you there is a stress hormone, it will go up, and then you have to bring it down so you will be happy. But I will tell you, cortisol is spiked, adrenaline is spiked. Okay, so these are the hormones which are going to give you stress and anxiety, right? Now how you elevate them, how you remove them? Just walk, just move, because you are in stress, and if your body is climbing a hill, then it will be negative signal for the cortisol. So if you just move your body, you will be happy. You don't need any supplement, you don't need any protocol. You just have to listen to your biology. That at what time of day I'm stressed most, you just have a little bit movement of body and you will be fine. This is very simple in saying. People will not believe it, but once they will test it for 3 4 times, they will be coming to you, okay, I have just moved my body and I was happy.
Okay. Okay. And in our sedentary society, we're more likely to pick up the phone and scroll and create
Yeah,
more.
create more. So, I mean, uh, if a person is having anxiety, and I'm as a wellness coach or as a healer, that's another very complex word. As a healer, if I tell the person that stand up in front of mirror and say the affirmative sentences like I am good,
Yeah.
I am enough. Now, for me, those lines are more threats to amygdala, because amygdala is already thinking that I am not enough, I am
Mhm.
not doing good things. But when you repeat these sentences for 3 4 times,
Uh-oh. We got a
all these
connection.
things, yeah. Can you
We,
hear me?
I can now. We lost you for a minute.
Yeah,
So we
for
lost you at when you repeat these sentences, the
yeah,
affirmations.
yeah. So when you repeat these sentences, and if something is not changing, then that's a huge signal for our brain ki even after doing all these things nothing is changing. So there is more layer of threat for amygdala. So I always say that instead of changing yourself, you should change the environment for your brain. You have to tell that now I'm not 10-year-old, I am 41-year old. You
Mhm.
have to tell your brain that I'm not living in savannah, I am living in a room where nobody can harm me. So you have to reassure your brain that we are in the safe environment with small sentences, with exhaling, with movement, with changing your sleep cycle a little bit, and brain will understand. Biology always listen. It
Mhm.
always listen. Right. So there is no need of these protocols. I mean, people will hate me, and yeah, but the problem is whenever I see something which is biologically wrong, then I have to comment on it. That is my amygdala, that you have
Right.
to comment. So that's my my prediction model, but that's fine. I mean, people need courses, people need healing sessions, people need somebody to tell them, okay, do this.
Yeah.
But those people who are coaches and those people who are healers, they should be knowing the mechanism behind it.
Mhm.
Because without having mechanism in your mind, how do you design a protocol? You can't. You can't, because this is just psychology. So you can say whatever comes into your mind, that is wrong. Because if I have to design a therapy for cancer,
Mhm.
right? Forget about anxiety, grief, and all. Let's take a disease, cancer. If I have to design a therapy for cancer, I should be knowing what is cancer, how it is occurring, what
Mhm.
are the cells responsible for that, what are the signals responsible for that. Then only I can design a medicine and therapy. Without knowing the mechanism of grief, without knowing the mechanism of self hate, how
Mhm.
can I design the protocol?
Right.
And understanding mechanism is not difficult.
Yeah.
You can understand it in simple words, and that is the goal of uh, whatever we are developing, converting the biology in so simple words that everybody can learn, everybody can understand the mechanism, and then they can start practicing it.
You're writing the way that you embody the internal organs and the conversation between the internal organs is fascinating, and I encourage everybody to go read your stuff, subscribe. You're a light in a dark tunnel most days. But I have a question, and that is that, so when my mind does what I call rumination, I'm fascinated at the concept that I've I've never thought about my brain as a predictive. The purpose of it is prediction. And so when anxiety rises, it is predicting either fight or flee or its amygdala response, right? But why does it get stuck in that loop and won't let it go?
Yeah, so it's very simple. Until and unless you don't get the closure, you will be in the same loop. So brain does not like what we say open endings.
Okay.
Brain wants some kind of closure to a pathway. Okay,
Mhm.
so I give you another example. So let's say I'm having the issue of anxiety. Okay, and I'm reading 10 books upon that, how to solve my problem of anxiety, right?
Of course, yeah.
But I'm understanding all the mechanisms, but I'm not finding the solution.
Mhm.
So I'm having 10 new open endings. But suddenly I find a guru on internet who
Okay.
says, I will definitely solve your anxiety. So that word definitely is closure for our mind. And
Okay.
even if that guy is wrong, we will go to him. Right. So you will be in the same loop forever if you don't find closure. Right. So sometimes I tell my students that I consider Mother Nature as a serial killer. So, what is the specialty of serial killer? It finds very creative ways to trouble you, to kill you, but it also likes to be chased because it wants fame. A serial killer always wants fame, so it leaves small clues behind it. So you can recognize those clues and you can find who killed something of your own. Right. So the clues are you are never getting the closure and you are in the same loop again and again. So even for once, if you say, okay, this is the end point, then
Mhm.
you will come out of that loop. The
Mhm.
brain never like open endings.
Okay.
So certainty, brain works on certainty. Okay,
Mhm.
it is going to happen means it is going to happen. So let's say uh, if somebody's kid is going to come home from school at 4:30 p.m., that is the prediction in the brain. And if the time right now is 5:30 and a child has not come back, then there is a loop of thoughts. What happened?
Mhm.
What if the same thing happens tomorrow? What if this thing happens in 2031? It happened same in 2007. So you never come out of that loop. But once the child is at home, the loop is closed and you are
Mhm.
out of it. So you can come out of the loop just by doing small exercises. Again, by telling your brain, okay, this story has this closure, this end, so we don't need the loop again. So rumination is, I mean, simple natural response of our brain.
Mhm.
We'll keep running it until and unless we find the closure. So people find the closure in God, people find closure in gurus, people find closure in books, people
Uh-huh.
find closure in some articles. I mean, that depends upon you. Musicians find the closure in if they create a new music or new tune. So that's the closure for their brain.
Okay. Okay. So, what about if I say anniversary dates of trauma to you? Does that, is there a biological something that happens? Because I can think I've got closure on something, and then some date of death or date of trauma comes up, and it's been 10 or 20 years. I don't know what's going on, but boy, am I on edge.
Yeah, I mean, so I'm having a little bit different view on that.
Okay.
So yeah, it will never stop coming back. It will always come.
Okay.
It will always come. I mean, even after 50 years, it will come
Oh,
because brain never forget things. Okay, even if the memories will be little bit different, it new reconstruction, but it will come. You cannot stop it. That's
mhm.
why I always say you have to grow around it.
Uh,
So if the date of trauma comes back, then you have to do something creative on that day so
okay.
you can decrease the intensity. And there
Yeah.
is a term which is called as receptor fatigue, and it is a true term. So I give you one political example. Okay, so I mean, the Ukraine Russia war is happening from what, from
Mhm.
last so many years, right? So in year one, the response to that war, the sympathy to those people was very intense, right? But you are reading the same thing again and again and again. So today we are worried about the war, but our intensity is not the same. Our receptors are fatigued. They
Oh
are
God.
tired by seeing the same thing again and again. So
Mhm.
you can also make your trauma receptors
Mhm.
tired by doing something creative on that day. So you can tell the brain, okay, today is the day of trauma, but we have to decrease the intensity a little bit.
Yeah.
And I give you a very interesting analogy. So if you keep eating sweet, then after a few minutes, the neurons which are present on your taste buds, they will be fatigued.
Mhm.
They will still taste the sweet, but the intensity will be less.
Yeah.
So if you want to teach them how to taste the sweet again, just eat something savory. So the process will start from zero. So in biology, it is always starting things from zero.
Okay.
So how biology works, I mean, there are two switches, switch on and switch off. And biology loves developing the mechanism to switch off the things. Okay,
Mhm.
if because if you don't switch off the things, you cannot start the things again. So restarting and switching off is very important. And people will laugh on this, but you know why we have the mechanism of blinking of eyes?
Mhm.
Why do we need that? People think that it is to protect your eyes from infection or from dust or something. It's not like that. We have receptors in our retina. So if you keep opening your eyes continuously, the photons of light will continuously go inside and the receptors will be tired and you will get blind. So you have to switch off and you have to restart. So once you blink, given to you to, so you can switch off the things and you can restart them.
Okay.
And it happens in every condition, even in trauma.
Right.
So if I'm having a trauma day, so I mean, I met with one car accident.
Mhm.
I mean, and because of that, I left the sports completely, and I decided to make my career in academics or science,
Mhm.
and that is trauma anniversary for me, right? But
Mhm.
I celebrate my trauma anniversary by doing 3 4 very unrelated and creative things. So with time, the intensity is going down.
Yeah. Yeah. So the mind never forgets, but
Yeah,
it seeks closure.
yeah.
And so, do you ever really get closure?
No.
Because then an anniversary date pops up, and then you run a little mini cycle of it again?
Yeah, so the absolute closure or absolute reaching to 100% is not possible in biology.
Shit.
So, but it's good. I mean, even if you're reaching to the level of 98%, that is fine. I mean,
Yeah.
and we don't want 100% closure of anything.
Uh-huh.
We because some of those things have given us strength,
Yeah.
right? A trauma also gives you strength to fight the things, and that's a kind of gift. So you don't want to forget it completely. You want
Mhm.
to remember it in a creative way. That's the only thing. So that is not resolving it, but growing around it.
So, what part of the body slash brain? Because I really can't, aren't there brain cells other places than just your brain? I read
Yeah,
that
of
somewhere.
course.
Where are
Uh,
they?
yeah, and whole body. I mean, our gut is having higher number of neurons than brain. So
Okay.
that's why we have devised a metaphor, the gut feeling.
Uh, okay.
And there are so many interesting things happening because of these neurons. So I give you one very interesting story. So if you go to a club
Mhm,
and you drink whiskey,
mhm.
okay, and there is a term which is called as whiskey dick. Now, what is that term? What is that term? In presence of disco lights
Uh-huh.
and under the influence of whiskey,
Mhm,
the neurons from gut, neurons from brain work together, and
mhm.
they start finding strangers more attractive in comparison to when you were sober.
Okay.
Right. So that is happening with the because of the neurons which are not present in the brain. Right.
Uh-huh.
And then you bring the person to your home and you know what happens after that. So
Right. And
you
then
end
you
up
wake up
being
on.
with in the morning you wake up and then you find sometimes, oh, what the fuck I have done. So there are two terms, whiskey dick and beer goggles. So
God.
they are better than any dating app. So they
Uh,
train your brain that how to be attracted towards strangers, and those neurons are mainly coming from gut.
And then I tell people the only story that matters is the one you tell yourself. Because
Yeah,
in the morning, when you wake up with the, oh my God, who is this person and what was I thinking? Then what do you tell yourself affects your prediction of what will happen the next
yeah,
time. Maybe you don't take the whiskey
yeah,
next time, maybe. Um, but it affects your self esteem. It affects the way you see yourself. It affects the things you're afraid might happen in community. That body brain connection never rests, even when we're sleeping. Is that what dreams are? Is trying to
yeah.
work out that stuff?
So when you are sleeping, a specific part of brain is active, which is called as default mode network.
Okay.
Default basic function of default mode network is when you are sleeping, when you are taking rest,
Mhm.
then it creates different kind of scenarios and hypotheses. What can happen? What will be good? What will be bad? And people, I mean, sometimes specifically, I'm talking about women. There are women who stop caring about others. Okay, they say, okay, I don't care about the society, I don't care about the neighbors, I don't care about the people. And once they start thinking that, biology really changes. The amygdala goes quieter. Amygdala thinks there is no threat. Then the prefrontal cortex, which is important for taking decisions,
Mhm.
it starts winning the argument. Okay, it starts telling itself, okay, the other people, whatever they are thinking, they are not correct, we are correct. And the
Mhm.
default mode network, it creates only those projections and those assumptions which are good for body. So body totally changes if you practice not giving fuck about others. And it
Mhm.
is true, it is really true. And it is important for females, I'm telling you. I mean, because they are in constant pressure of making others happy.
Mhm. So let's talk about what kind of control, power, or agency we really have in this brain body connection. Because when we talk about trauma dates, you just described what I have lived. My lived experience was that I had trauma, and especially the first year after that trauma, everything, when I would run across an anniversary date, I intentionally decided every time, gee, that used to be my anniversary. Today I'm going to do something that brings me joy. i'm going to
Yeah,
i'm going to layer a new memory on June 10th over that old memory, so that the next year when it hits, I've got something else to think about
yeah,
too. And after
yeah,
I did that for a few years, I don't remember the old trauma anymore. Now I
yeah,
have, and that's the year I was in Hawaii, and that's when I this, and okay. But it was an intentional decision. At least I thought it was. I
No,
thought
it
it
was
was the power of my mind but is it
no,
just
no. It is
survival biology?
no. It is definitely an intentional decision, and I mean, you have created a prediction remodeling protocol of your own, and that is the best thing people can do. I mean, you
Mm-hmm.
don't need others to tell you. You are creating, okay, so, okay, this year, trauma anniversary, I will be doing that. So from third year on, you are having two layers, the first year, the second year. And who wins? Whatever is helping you to survive.
Yep.
And who is helping you to survive? The joy, the happiness, the creativity. So that's
Uh,
the best model. So even in my courses, I try to tell the people that don't work on your brain too much. Just work on correcting the predictions. So create the model and
mhm,
create the model based on the current data, not on the old data. The problem is we are always living in the old data, and old data is giving you older model, and you cannot survive it. So why I will remember, I mean, why I will be remembering a negative memory when I was 5 years old,
mhm.
if I can create new memories and new prediction data and new predictive model when I did something good when I was 25-year old, right? So I will try to remember those things,
Uh-huh.
and brain helps you in that. It is
Okay.
not, I mean, it doesn't say that we always have to live in the past. You will be living in the past, but again, you will be
Uh-huh.
growing around it.
So the body is a survival mechanism.
Yeah,
That's the whole
yeah,
point of biology, right? Is to
yeah.
get you through whatever.
Two things: a survival mechanism and a negative bias of millions of years. Your body will always think negative because thinking negative helped your ancestors surviving the bad environment.
Hmm.
Okay, so our ancestors were hidden in the caves from saber tooth. That's why we are here.
Right.
If they were thinking always positive, we will not be here.
Hmm.
Right? They survived because of that negative bias. So two things are constant in our body. One is survival mechanism, amygdala, and second is a negative bias towards everything.
Hmm.
Right. So how to convert that negative bias into some positivity, that depends upon you, that how you create the model.
Hmm.
So when for example, after 15 minutes, if you receive an email from a person, and the person is telling you you did this particular thing wrong,
Hmm.
so it's just an email, but
Hmm.
for brain it is a woolly mammoth who is coming to kill you. Now you have to tell the brain, sir, it is not a woolly mammoth, it is just an email, we are safe, and brain will recognize the situation, it will help you.
Yeah. Yeah. Fascinating. If we were going to leave one thing with our audience, and I want to hear about your other writing and your other adventures, aren't you? You're getting ready to launch a course, aren't
Yeah,
you?
so yeah, so so we have prepared three courses actually.
Okay.
So first is about self love,
Mhm.
second is anxiety and procrastination,
Oh, that's
and third one is growing around grief. So
okay.
I mean, these courses are not the wellness courses. We are first teaching biology in the most simpler words with stories. So we give you characters. Okay, so if we are talking about a self-love course, we give you four characters which are hating themselves in four different manners.
Okay.
Right. One is thinking I'm not enough for this.
Uh-huh.
Second is thinking I'm too tired for this. Third is people pleaser who is thinking, okay, if I do this, what other people will think. And
Mhm.
fourth, going with old trauma. Then
Mhm.
we continue those four stories and we show that this particular person has done these exercises, and these exercises are not maintaining some manifestation journal or something. These exercises are training the brain for new data.
Oh,
So we give PDFs where you write, and we teach you how to write.
mhm.
Okay, how to write. So when I say that write your first bad memory, there is a method to write that. So
Mhm.
you keep writing them, and then at the end, you create your own model, a new model. And if you follow that model for 2, 3 months, you start self loving you. Similar for procrastination, similar for growing around grief. And you know, I have seen, so once I have entered into this field, I started reading about grief and protocols of grief and mechanisms of grief. Everything is about brain. But the
Mhm,
problem is in grief, everything is getting affected, even your immune system,
mhm,
even your gut, even your liver, everything. So we have to tackle all those organ systems also. So we will be the first one who will be talking about immune system in grief,
mhm.
how to handle. And it's just not you say we drink this because it is anti-inflammatory. The problem is we need inflammation because inflammation is must for repair, for wound healing. So
Mhm,
inflammation is the most important mechanism we are having. We just
mhm.
have to be specific. We don't need chronic inflammation, and then we teach the meaning of that, and then we teach the people how to tackle it.
So when you're giving PDFs to people and saying, write your earliest memory,
Hmm.
my life experience is that writing makes it real. It's why I write. And
Yeah.
if I use my hand and I write, I actually physically write something, it lands differently in my emotional centers. Like my body processes it differently than if I'm on a keyboard or if I'm speaking it. Because if I speak it, it's just like these things. I never go back and watch them or
Yeah.
take notes in class. But writing those things down, what happens? What is the body connection?
So when we are are we talking about writing on a notepad with pen?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah,
The
so
physical.
I also do the same. First, I write my articles on empty paper, and then I type it, and then I correct the grammar.
Yeah.
So what I feel that when I'm writing on paper, I'm introducing so many neurons simultaneously, my motor neurons, my analysis neurons, and all. Right. So when I'm doing this, the whole brain is involved. Even the gut feeling, the gut neurons are involved, and the result which comes out, which is really creative. The problem with AI writing is when you give a prompt to AI to write something, right? What happens? Only some neurons of your brains are involved in that process, and that creativity is lost. The emotion is lost. So it's, I mean, it is factually correct. It is structurally very good. It is very polished, but you lose the mechanisms.
Yeah.
So it
Yeah.
is always good
And it
if you start
shows
writing with that.
because that kind of writing doesn't hit your
Yeah, it
audience,
doesn't
your
hit.
readers
Yeah,
the
it
same
doesn't hit.
way. When I
It,
write, it kills me. I mean, if I'm, I hate writing. It is like Listerine twice a day because it takes me into the depths of all the feelings that I may or may not want to feel jumbled up in there in order to write something real. And then you write it real, you put it on Substack, and me, nobody notices, nobody reads, nobody cares. And I just blood, sweat, and teared over this article. you know?
and one more thing, I mean, when we speak, there are so many factors in our brain. They are trying to stop us from speaking because what happens? Whatever you are writing, you can delete it. Okay.
right.
Yeah, whatever you speak, you cannot take it back. So that
Yeah.
is another kind of threat for brain. What if this guy will speak something and it will backfire? So that
Yeah.
is the issue with speaking and conversation. So writing is a personalized thing. If I write it, I will erase it, I will delete it. Even from internet, I will somehow I will remove it. But when I talk something with you live, then it is forever somewhere. I mean, and it's another kind of threat layer for amygdala.
So the coursework that you're doing is getting people to write and do the work and get it out. And the work that I do with them is if you're having trouble then telling your story,
Yeah, yeah,
I help them reclaim their voice.
yeah. And we already know that the first memory which people will write is a wrong memory because you never have the real memory. It is always reconstruction. But
Okay.
we get to know what kind of reconstruction you are doing,
Yes. Yeah.
right? So if
Because
it
that's
was
what fuels your decisions.
yeah, and if it was a small memory like somebody laughed upon you, but
Yeah.
in your writing it is so intense, it means your brain is creating so many different kind of layers on that. So we feel the difference. We feel the difference because memory was so I mean, my trauma memory can be my father denied me having a butterscotch ice cream in 96, right? But I can write an essay today on that. I was so excited about having the ice cream that day. I made 3 days plan for that particular ice cream, but suddenly my father told me, don't have the ice cream, so it is engraved in my mind and in my heart, and I'm not able to come out of it. So that difference between writing your first memory and the real first memory is huge, and
Yeah.
that tells us about you,
Yes.
that how your brain is working.
Yes. Yes. And how you're, and the decisions you're making from how your brain
Yeah,
is, that are
yeah,
impacting your life. That's why I love the deconstruction, the understanding, the going back to the false beliefs, or if I have a belief that is particularly blocking me, to be able to say, so who made that rule? Where did that come
yeah,
from? Okay, it might have been me for 40 years, but before that it was dad with the butterscotch ice cream.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And nowadays people run too much on preconceived notions. So I give you one very simple example. I was on a video call with somebody, and I was not wearing my t-shirt. Okay, and that person asked me, "You are on a video call and you're not wearing your t-shirt. This is wrong." Then I just told him that people can go to beaches without wearing t-shirt, and I cannot be without t-shirt in my home. So that's, I mean, somewhere I mean, we are
Right.
applying the wrong models.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. This has been a wonderful time. I appreciate you spending this time with me this morning. Is there
thank you.
anything that biology has to say to us that we might not have touched on because we don't know the questions to ask?
Yeah, of course. And there are so many questions. Even we don't know those questions. How to ask them, how to frame those questions. We don't have any idea. But yeah, we will learn. We'll learn slowly. And I mean, it was wonderful experience for me. I mean, I never spoke this much continuously. I mean, this is my first time speaking continuously 50 minutes or so.
Yes, you did
Yeah,
great. You did great.
thank you.
Introverts. What I love, and I do retreats for introverted women
Hmm.
because we don't talk out loud and we carry so much wisdom and so much depth, and we are overlooked in a society that rewards extroverted party people. And for
Yeah.
us, that's just noise that I need to recover from. And so I love having one-on-one conversations with people who don't normally get to hear
Yeah.
themselves speak, because that shifts it too.
So, in the end, I will tell you one small story.
Okay.
The killer whales, when there is scarcity of salmons, small fishes, so they have to go away from one place to another place, right? And they are not led by stronger whales, they are not led by more efficient whales. They are led by older whales, the experienced whales, because they know where is the salmon and where was the salmon 3 years back or where was the salmon 4 years back. So we need that kind of society where the people with experience and real pattern recognition should lead us. That's why I say that you are not past your prime, you have just entered in your prime.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you very much. I hope you
Thank
have
you,
a
ma'am.
wonderful day. I'm going to figure out how to end this recording, and it'll automatically then start feeding. It'll be on your, when you wake up or before you go to bed, whatever your time frame is. Thank you so much, Vishant, for your
Thank you,
time.
ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you very much, ma'am.